Hey, in the finals we were on a die roll. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm gonna play first. Rough keep, but I'm gonna. Because I hate mulliganing. And I got a 1-drop that can start being aggressive, maybe block, and then I have a Bitter Revelation, which helps. And I hate mulliganing. Absolutely hate. Let's see what my opponent has. Opponent has a full hand. Let's see, are we in a race game? No. You also have some green action going on. Oh my gosh. There's really no reason to play this guy first. Except I could have done an F6 because there's nothing my opponent could have at green, but such is life. 1-drop into 2-drop. So this is the second game of this tournament that top decked like a champ. The earlier game being the one where I got that suspension field to deal with the Savage Knuckle Blade and drawing the mountain that I desperately needed. Opponent has a mountain of his or her own with a Smoke Teller online. Alright, so we'll attack in with both. I don't feel the need to keep the Mardu Hateblade around. Well, no, because I don't want my opponent to have me take up the entire turn and not play my Morph. So I will just attack with the Chief. Because then I'm priced into hitting up the Death Touch, and then I can't develop my board, so that's a horrible idea. Just to get the possibility of 1 point of damage in. Assuming we're seeing a Teamer deck. Little less worried, just because we saw the great Teamer rares earlier, since the Savage Knuckle Blade and Hooded Hybrid are gone. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't 2 fantastic Teamer decks in the draft. And yeah, what a fantastic curve we've gone into. 1, 2, 3, plus a Bitter Revelation of 4 to refill. Opponent seems to want to be doing aggression as well, and that is not going to work out particularly fantastic for my opponent, I think. Opponent's currently trading 4 for 5, and I'm ahead on the race, so that's interesting. The lifelink can start getting... The Chief can just kind of like hose this Valley Dasher, but I think I just want to attack in myself and begin the race. Let's see what this Bitter Revelation reveals. Alright. Thank you, thank you. No thank you, no thank you. I think we're just in classic race mode, right? Do I want to bother blocking with Chief this guy? My opponent will only be at 4 cards at that point. I think I do keep the Chief back, because at 4, my opponent can waste Removal Spell or a Combat Trick to kill a Chief. And that's fine. I want the cards on my opponent's hand while I kind of do better on the board. And I'm only down, quote-unquote, 1 point of damage. Because my opponent's doing 4 and I'm doing 3, so I'm not really losing the major race here. Yeah, I don't really want the Chief to scale to die. But if my opponent was at 5 mana or something, then I'd be a little more worried. But at 4, there's not too much I'm worried about being blown out. Okay, so it is a removal spell, which is going to get me anyway. My opponent's going to keep bashing through. We're going to have a lot of great follow-ups. Opponent's now tapped out, which puts me in a good position. So what do I want to do? I could just play the Jeskai Student, keep up my Mardu Hateblade, and flip my Morph. Bummer is the Jeskai Student doesn't necessarily get triggered. Do I want to start clearing? My opponent has 4 cards in hand. The other option is play take. I could do the Witness as a Morph and the Jeskai Student. Start offering a couple of trades here or there. I feel like this Sidisi's Pet's going to go a long way with the life gain because we're racing. I also like the idea of playing Take Up Arms after the Jeskai Student's down, just trying to get a blowout if my opponent wants to do this race thing. Yeah, so when we play the Witness face down and the Jeskai Student, just develop our defenses. Am I going to block at all? Probably just block with 1. Because I'll be tapped out. Again, Hateblade's going in. Keep up with the arms race here. Foil bring low. Just side note, gotta love them foils. Keeping such a land-heavy deck, but still being able to use my mana every turn with spells, gotta admit, it's pretty nice. Do I want to trade my Witness for one of these duders? I'm getting to the point where things like Arrow Storm matter. I don't think I care about this. I think I just want to keep my life tall. So I think I'm going to offer a trade with the Smoke Teller with my Witness of the Ages. Keep my life above 10. Because what's going to end up happening is this Take Up Arms and Trumpet Blast, assuming we draw a mountain, are going to start doing a whole lot. And if my opponents continue to do this race thing is, I assume there's like a blue or another color that my opponent has, and with 5 cards in hand, I can get kind of hosed here pretty quickly. But this is what I'm currently in the mood for. All right. Do you have a follow-up? Opponent got 1 mana on me because I paid 3 for my 2/2. Mystic Monastery, War Striker. Ooh, now you got to do a big old turn. I assume a morph comes down here. A Dragon Grip. What does this even do? Flash doesn't matter right now. It's just +2/+0 and has first strike. So 5/3 first strike. That's significant. That's for sure. I've got blocks for days. It's a 2-turn clock here. This guy has to bash through. I could go ahead and play the Ponyback Brigade and have a Sidisi's Pet flip. I kind of like the idea of killing the Valley Dasher now. We'll go in and play the Take Up Arms, put a Warrior in front of my opponent as Mordu War Shrieker. I can't attack. The Jeskai Student will go in front of the Valley Dasher and hopefully eat it once Take Up Arms has been triggered. And then we'll have a nice little crackback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. The Ponyback Brigade. Yeah, that's the game plan. So I'll just go ahead and pass the turn. I assume this is just a blue source, not a blue and white. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Super wrong, in fact. All right. That guy has to come in. That guy comes in. Counterspell would be a bummer here, in case we weren't aware of that beforehand. But at the very least, Jeskai Student gets to eat the Valley Dasher. Alright, cool. So the plan worked. We're getting there. You're going there. You're going there. There we are. Blockers for days. If we draw a red source, I only have 3 in the deck. Draw a red source, we win. That'd be nice. Ponyback Brigade, though, it still has to come down no matter what. And I do have a nice crackback here. Scaldkin. Alright, need to be aware of that taking me out. So my opponent now has a flyer. Who do I attack with? I do want to put more pressure on, because otherwise, if I don't draw my mountain, my opponent can just start getting me in the air, and I am going to be losing creatures a turn with these warriors. The morph can go in. I don't know if I want to trade it or not, but I might. We'll see. My opponent can't activate Skulker right now, so that's pretty fantastic. Jeskai Student can go in, because it's not blocking, and I might get that single point in. Do I want the Hate Blade to trade with the Scaldkin? Yeah, I don't mind that either. We'll just keep the warriors back. These are the only 2 that I don't want attacking with. So, let's do it. Do I want to flip this guy right now? I don't actually. I really don't. I just want that extra point of damage. Oh, my opponent says fun game to the right here, and I didn't respond yet. Definitely want this guy down. Oh, I should have kept, I guess there's really no case where this Hate Blade needs to be activated with Death Touch, but you never know. I definitely want a Swamp and one for my CDC's pet to be available in case my opponent wants to try to kill it. Warrior's going right back in front. Skullkin can hit me for sure, and then take out one of my guys. My opponent is at 7, has to be wary of this crackback, that's lethal. Going in for the 2, can't do a thing about it. Ouch. Looks like this guy's staying back on the defense. I love gaining a life here. And then follow up as a Trumpet Blast. If I attack with everybody, what do I get? Let's just say this blocks a morph, it's the most damage. Then I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Punts down to 1. Trumpet Blast we get the next turn. So how do I die on the crackback? Because I can attack with everything and put my opponent in a good spot. If I die, I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage coming to me. And I'm going to be at exactly 9. So I do need to keep 2 blockers back. That's in case there's a removal spell. Because the warriors can't go through. Well, actually, I don't want to attack with the Hate Blade then. The Hate Blade will be the blocker. Because my opponent can just block that instead. So we attack for 3. My opponent's down to 4. Or do we just wait a turn for the Windscarred Crag? Which would be just as lethal without me losing anything, right? But I like putting pressure on my opponent, so I am going to go ahead and attack. I only need 2 blockers, I think. So we're going to go ahead and suicide one of our morphs in. And just get a bunch of damage through. Remember, Skullkin can just go ahead and pick off a guy. Well, that actually works for me. Alright, opponent takes 1, 2, 3, 4, down to 3. I'll gain a life. My opponent should be a little bit worried, having seen that guy. My opponent could have like 2 removal spells and enough mana to cast them and kill the Skullkin, but that seems pretty probable, especially now my opponent untapped without that. Guess only Flying Crane technique really gets me, but I'd be dead to that anyway. Lane the center, interesting. Alpine Grizzly, alright. Definitely worrisome, in a sense. Oh, it wants to be on the defense. I see, I see. No reason to flip that guy. Ooh, Raider Spoils is good. Do I want to show that I do play Trumpet Blast? Since that's an instant and conceivably more deadly. Opponent does have 2 cards in hand. If I attack with all and 1, 2, 3 are blocked, Raider Spoils is lethal on its own, but I'm down on the crackback, so a removal spell does get me. Can I be a little more careful? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't do the pet as well as Raider Spoils and Trumpet Blast, but I like the idea of this guy helping out. But if I want to be conservative and keep, like if my opponent has a way of bouncing a dude or something, Hate Blade, I want to keep back to block the Alpine Grizzly. 5, 6, 7. I Two blockers. Let's just say, sorry, I think I have the win here, but I'm playing around cards my opponent can have that could kill me. If I keep two guys back, attack with the first, just these three, then they all get to be blocked, right? Warshaker kills something. Jeskai Student is gone, but then a Trumpet Blast kills my opponent. No, because they all get blocked. But Skullkin, Grizzly, everything trades, but then I'm in a pretty rough spot. Versus, if I play the Raider Spoils, my opponent still does the same blocks, right? I think I just go for it with keeping one warrior back. We're going to keep the Mardu Hateblade back. So do I... Because that keeps me from dying directly next turn. Although that 9 might go down. And then the question is, do I want to do a Raider Spoil and Trumpet Blast? I'm going to do the Raider Spoil. Ooh, that was bad. Because what it does is, that doesn't give me lethal with that one creature going through. So I have to show the Raider Spoil and the Trumpet Blast now. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have just gone for the Trumpet Blast. Just so we're clear about that. Because the Trumpet Blast, what I was trying to do is only play one card, and I chose the Raider Spoil thinking they were both, one card was lethal, thinking that as an enchantment it's less valuable than my opponent knowing the Trumpet Blast blow out of nowhere, even though my opponent can probably guess that I have a Trumpet Blast in my deck, right? However, the idea was that my opponent has to do all the blocks anyway to stay alive, and the one creature getting through would win the game. But that's incorrect, because as you'll see, Raider Spoil, I'll only be getting 2 damage through if I'm to make that happen. Now, my opponent can do some different types of blocks and stuff. I will get to clear some creatures out of the way, but it allows my opponent to have spells that interact more favorably versus just rocking the Trumpet Blast out and not showing the Raider Spoil. I don't think it's a big deal showing the Raider Spoil, but don't love this line as much as if I had just attacked normally, try to go for the Trumpet Blast. It is nice that this guy now is already a 3/4, so that helps. It's lethal on its own. You go for a block right there. These guys have to be blocked. You can't let 2 creatures through. So my opponent can do a block sack, but it's the same thing as just blocking. But if my opponent goes for the Skullkin here, I can get a little tricky, yeah, and what I get to do now is flip my morph. Yeah, but maybe I just do the Trumpet Blast. No, because my opponent can just sack, kill the one guy that's getting through, and win. So we do have to just flip the CDC's pet now. Also means I'm not worried about the Skullkin sacrificing, killing the Hateblade. Because my opponent will still only have 5 on the black. Swing. And I gain 2 life. Well, not necessarily. I can go down to 5. My opponent could have an Arrow Storm and kill me this way. This is a way to kill me with an Arrow Storm. And what I mean by that is, Skullkin gets sacrificed, killing the Mardu Hateblade. It's dead. Alpine Grizzly's dead. My guy's dead. I have no defense. And then my opponent attacks with Mardu Hateblade for 5. I'm down to 4, because I didn't gain life from the Skullkin. And then an Arrow Storm finishes me off. So I lose to Arrow Storm here, which is a very probable card in my opponent's deck, if my opponent sees how that's going to work out. Another reason why it might have been better to just go ahead and done the Trumpet Blast. Or just have gone all in. But I wasn't able to think that far ahead and to see all of that, because I'm not a professional Magic player, though I love playing Magic. Opponent is tapping, sacking. All right, going for it. Probably just playing to outs. There goes the Hateblade. These guys all happen. Um, do I want to draw a card? Does 8 matter? Yeah, because there's a +3/+3, so I actually do not want to draw a card. Because there is that, what is it, Dragon Scale Boon? Is that the one that does +3/+3? There's a way for my opponent to do... There's an extra card in these colors that gives 8 power a win, not 9. So I don't want to open that up to my opponent, especially when right now on the board I do have a win. Alright, this could be Arrow Storm. I'm going to F6, because there's nothing for 1 mana that I can do against that. Feed Resistance. 2 cards that get there? No? Ah. And since my opponent was friendly earlier, I just wrote to my opponent, Arrow Storm? Question mark? Hee hee. But my opponent didn't have it. Instead had Arc Lightning. Alright, so... And he wrote back, build your own Arrow Storm. Yep. Got it. Alright, so good finish, even though that killed me. Ouchie, ouchie. With the Arc Lightning. Really nice premium cards my opponent had with the Feed Resistance and Arc Lightning. I don't think I want to bring my Arrow Storm in against my opponent, or Active Treason. We're looking to be on the race side. Is there anything that helps me with that? Nothing that I want to bring in, like the Dreadmaw or the Defiant Strike. I do like my deck for it, so I'm going to run it back and just be happy to be on the play again. Missing Black, we got a 2-drop, 3-drop, and then gas, so yeah, we're keeping. See what my Lance Center chooses to do. Right, on the back foot. I'm on the back foot. Need to win this guy in the next one. Also, I'm at 13 minutes. Just a thing, just something to pay attention to. Lead off with my planes. Opponent has a Mystic Monastery. Ooh, that's a fantastic draw. Probably going to rock that guy out as a morph next. Gain some life, which will be very helpful in the race of this world. It's nice too. Do want this guy out first though, because I like getting the pressure on early. I'll reveal the War Behemoth and then probably play it next turn. That's very fantastic. I'll still attack with both, see if my opponent wants to risk blocking that extra point. There's really no downside besides I could take 2, but I'm okay with that. Opponent knows I'm going to be doing a morph here. Oh, I overtapped because I'm silly. Whoopsies. In the moment, not trading with the Smoke Teller, but it makes my opponent think twice about attacking with it. Would love to just draw another land. Get this Take Up Arms online. Just start being aggressive, attack with everything. Because I will attack with everything, mind you. It'd be great if I could draw that 5th land to be able to attack with everything. Then my opponent has 0 blocks. My opponent is going to be able to play a 4-drop here. Are you blocking? No, you're attacking. Alright, race is on. Let's do it. Another Savage Knuckleblade in the draft? That would be nutty. Longshot Squad. Okay. Currently still going to attack with the Flyer. I could go ahead and attack with a Jeskai Student. there's really no point. Might as well keep it on block because it's still a free block for my opponent. So we'll just attack with these two. That long shot squad's going to be annoying once Outlast goes down. I assume no blocks here. Take 4 scenario. Yep. And I'm happy just keeping this guy available or keeping Take Up Arms. I might be able to eat the Smoke Teller with the Jeskai student. And it might mean my opponent want to do an Outlast while after attacking or something like that. And then, a bunch more damage is coming through and my opponent wasn't even ready for. So, that's fun. My main goal, though, is to be somewhat aggressive enough to where this Longshot squad doesn't really matter against the Watcher. I'm still going to block this guy no matter what. So I can do that after I declare blockers to play the Take Up Arms, in case he gets countered or something. We'll rock out that one. I am F6ing, because there's nothing I can do now that I'm tapped out. Alright, what is available to my opponent here? A Bring Low, okay. Hey, I'm more than happy to bring low, and that's a great reason why to have done it after declaring blockers. I didn't take that extra 2 damage from the Smoke Teller. Opponent gains a life. Oops. Go to combat. I accidentally clicked through, but that's okay, because we drew a creature, and we're just doing the race now, right? Yeah. For all my opponents on a 2-turn clock. And tapped out. Now I have 5 mana. How do I want to negotiate this? I'm playing a Morph. So I just put something in front that I want to block. Yeah, maybe just offer the trade with the Sidisi's Pet. Because once I get to 6, I can just hardcast these anyway. I'm just casting 1 a turn for a while. So I might as well do the one I don't mind trading off the most here. Keep developing the board. Because that's really the key with my opponent at 6 life, just being able to keep doing stuff. I assume no attacks come now. So my opponent, I mean, it's 4 cards in hand, so there's something that's going to happen. But on this board stage, just blocking the morphs means my opponent's going down to 1. Opponent can't afford to keep this Longshot squad, or can't afford to tap the Longshot squad. Has to keep it untapped because, yeah, so the Watcher gets to keep coming through for a while. So opponent needs to use one of the removal spells, probably in hand at 4 cards, to kill the flyer. Somewhat Prowler's not going to do a whole lot. Do I want the extra power? Yeah, I don't really need a defense, so I'm not going to bother flipping my Sidisi's Pet. Ooh, Swarm of Bloodflies is nice. In fact, I think that's what we're gonna play. We'll play this before combat. Attack with everything. Flyer gets through. Opponent's down to 4. Opponent can eat both my morphs? I don't like that idea. Just to get a big swarm of bloodflies through. I need a warrior. My opponent goes down to 2, and that's it. No, we'll just attack with the Watcher and the War Behemoth. Opponent can certainly do some double blocking, and I can use an entire turn to make a trade, but that actually benefits me, since I'm so far ahead on the board. And my opponent knows about the War Behemoth, so my opponent can probably guess that that's what this one is. Double checking there to know what it is, and now wants to probably do a double block. But remember, I'm fine with that if my opponent wants to trade resources while I'm so far ahead on life and board. That is actually okay by me. Cool. I'm actually kill the Longshot squad in case my opponent does find a way to stabilize. Getting this guy big and in reach. Actually, no, I'd rather have my opponent have that temptation. I don't think there's any way this guy's going to be able to do that. And we're good there. Great. 2-turn clock, but then my opponent has to waste a remove spell on the Watcher, and then I'll just get to play the Swarm also. If I draw a land, I'm not really needing this guy out super early, even though things are going to be dying. We just play out the Ponyback Brigade, go wide with my opponent at low life. Four cards in hand for my opponent. Plenty of powerful things that could go down. Alright, yep. That's definitely a bummer, the 2-for-1. But we knew Arc Lightning was in hand. Not great. I think we're still in a good position with the Swarm of Bloodflies back up. That 2-for-1, that's brutal. Arc Lightning killed me last turn, and now it's taking out my guys. Interesting that green was tapped. Means my opponent has no interest in outlasting right now. Can't entirely blame my opponent. Does my opponent go for an attack? I'll take it. Go for it. I'm actually happy to kill a warrior to put my opponent on clock. Especially because I'm probably going to play the Bloodflies here. Oh, I see. 6 mana. So I can attack with both. I only get 1 point of damage in though, and I lose 2 warriors. That seems kind of lame, except with the Swarm of Bloodflies, which I really like to have as a flyer. What do I want to bait out more? Because the Ponyback Brigade can come down. Yeah, let's play the Swarm of Bloodflies. Could just play the 4/4. It's huge. Swarm Speed's nice. It makes my opponent also have to think twice about. I can just chump. And then the Swarm of Bloodflies can become lethal in 1 turn. I'm going to have 6. I only have white up. I can't respond to anything my opponent's doing. I'm not attacking, as previously stated. Alright, I'm a little cocky. I'm saying that negatively because I was feeling pretty good until that Arc Lightning came down. Now I'm actually paying attention. One more fantastic play by my opponent like that, and I could get in some real trouble here. Still have gas with mana to cast it. But if this is some crazy rare morph or, I don't know, something else starts happening, I could be in some trouble. Side note, kind of curious as to what my opponent's deck doing. It's not really anything in the main archetype. I mean, look, it's 4 colors but without black, which is one of the keys, as well as overall kind of underpowered cards. Now, don't get me wrong, Arc Lightning is really, really good. I'm still fine taking 3 here instead of wasting a warrior. It's more like if my opponent want to go all in, then I might start blocking, but for now, I'm still okay being above 11. Anything above 10 I'm actually okay with. So we'll wait. If my opponent's taking 2, then I would put the warriors in block. Actually, I guess I could have put all 3 in front. Okay, so there goes Bring Low, which would have killed it anyway. Alright, there goes the removal spells. It's happening. My opponent is getting there. So I deploy the threats. Don't really want to play Bitter Revelation. I'd rather just continue by the board. Quote-unquote stabilize. I don't know if I'm going to really stabilize. We'll play the Witness now, so I have a nice big old blocker. And a lethal guy. My opponent still has 3 cards, but hopefully has been wasting all this gas, all the removal spells. To where now Witness can stick around. If there's another answer, I'm going to be bummed, but such is the life. I don't want to take more damage because I do think this Bitter Revelation could easily become a thing. The Morph can come by because I'm not going to block it due to a free Weapon Master. But I will, despite being tapped out, I'll block pretty much either one of these 2 creatures. Continue to force my opponent to use resources, because I'm about to get some advantage as well, because I will play the Ponyback Brigade next turn. Have a bit of a wide stance. Opponent looks like to be going for an Outlast here, which is good. Gives me a little bit of an opening to get an attack in. I think I'm going to do, despite already calling out the Efreet Weapon Master. If this is a Efreet Weapon Master, block first strike, this guy is going to kill Warrior anyway. But if that's the case, my opponent's tapped out and my Trumpet Blast wins me the game. So let's go for it here, because there's nothing else that I really care about. Come in there. Yep, could be the Efreet. Canyon Lurkers. I want to seal that deal now. Get that Trumpet Blast on. Okay. Good game. Good games, I should say. Both have been pretty fun. Into the finals, where I will not have the advantage of being on the play. We've seen a lot more of my opponent's deck. Bunch of Bringlows, Arc Lightning, of course, so I want to be aware of that. Creatures are kind of dorks. They're just very average. I guess you'd say the same about mine. Well, my opponent has better removal than I do. This might be a tough one to win, even though I don't think either of our decks... Well, maybe that's why it's going to be tough. I think both of our decks are pretty mediocre. Well, ain't this a pickle? I only have 8 white sources. I say only. I mean, that's fine. But right now, I can't do anything, and all I can do is play a Watch of the Roost. We're going to have to mulligan this. This is okay. Not great, but removal spell, and then eventually we'll get to be able to play some powerful cards. Opponent starts with the Monastery. Lead off with my Plains. Guess I should have done Swamp in case my opponent magically was playing 5th color black and I have to discard. Opponent's getting life. I don't love that, but it's fine. No plays yet, but hey, we drew a nice turn 3 play. 3 to 4 to, I mean, maybe 5. We'll see. Hopefully not. I don't really want anything in my graveyard right yet. Alright, write down. That might be good at some point. I'll probably trade off Morphs if my opponent offers it. This guy is not doing a whole lot against my opponent, so just make those trades. That's fine. Ooh, there's Willy Loxodon. Got value out of that. Clearing the way also helps this Abzan Battle Priest be good. Buys me time so I can make it big and cool. I assume Abzan Battle Priest is going to take a Bringlow. Hello? There we go. Can't do the Scavenger yet. Probably going to play it next turn. Even if I don't draw a land. Again, I'm pretty sure Abzan Battle Priest is going to take a Bringlow, but I don't want to play the Sage Eye here yet, right? Yeah, I just want to maximize my mana. Once I get my 5th land, I could do like a Suspension Field and Sage Eye Hair or something, or just play the Sage Eye Hair as it is. Tax in. Okay, my opponent does have the land. Missed a land drop last turn, so. Ooh. Here comes a War Shrieker. Now that's great. Blood Fire Expert, not as great. Would not have minded one more land here. If I attack with the Abzan Battle Priest, is that a good idea? I'm assuming it's a 3. Wait, this is a soldier. Oh, it's a cleric. Never mind. Not attacking. You know, it's the same thing anyway, so I guess same consideration. But I don't really want to trap with a Bloodfire Expert. I think I'm just going to Outlast it, which could be a waste of 1 mana and a block, because the removal suite here is probably going to take it out. But I think this is the time I have for it. The Chief of the Scale, I might just sacrifice into the block territory. Yeah, just try to start clearing things away. I think the life gain is going to be relevant, so I'm going to make this Abzan Battle Priest a must bring low. I want to be careful of that feeder resistance too. I forgot about last game. I didn't see it, but I saw it at the end of the first game. Bring low? Yep. Here goes the bring low. Oh, taking out the chief though. Okay. Which is fine. It just means, I mean, sure, I take 9 damage here, but I get 4 of it back, and I get to keep developing my board while hurting my opponent. Here's 5. I think I'm just going to play the Sage Eye Harrier because it blocks so well. And just keep going that route, just be on defense. I am going to attack with the Battle Priest, though, to gain 4 life. I could play the 3/3, but I'd rather have the Sage Eye Harrier out. And I want to guarantee that I gain the 4 life versus a removal spell taking out the Abzan Battle Priest. Cool. And then we'll have a couple removal spells up after that. I'm not too sure how I want to block. Probably just be safe and block the Mardu Warshrieker. Okay, opponent's going for it all. What does that mean? Any combat trick or like removal spell, any instant, keeps the Bloodfire Expert from dying to the Sage Eye Harrier. So my opponent must have it. And then if it's a removal spell, I could like kill the Abzan Battle Priest and kill my Sage Eye Harrier by putting this guy up too high, which means I really don't want to do that. At only 4 mana, I could block the Morph because it's not going to flip and kill the Harrier, but it's also not going to flip. Well, actually, it could be the 5/2. So 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm just going to block the Warshrieker. Make my opponent do something. Has to at least use a card to kill the Sage Eye Harrier then. Bring low. Yep. Okay, down to 7. Don't have my life gain. It might have to be time to Suspension Field the Mardu Warshrieker. I could do a Bitter Revelation right now. Draw land. Play Suspension Field. I think we're just going to Scavenge and Suspension Field. That seems like an okay turn. While my opponent's tapped out. We develop our board. We kill a dude. Life seems grand. There goes that guy. Here comes this guy. Have to take out this dude. Yes, please. Pass the turn. Keep up our defense. Eventually this ride down could get nice. But since we're on the back foot, this is the bad part of ride down. Not super low where Bitter Relation's a huge deal, but 1 Arrow Storm kills me, so I have to really think twice about firing it off. Since I can't gain any more life. My 2 life gain guys are gone. Well, I guess I could draw my 1 dual land, which gains me a life. Which after I lose 2 will only make me lose 1 down to 6, so I'm out of Arrow Storm range. I haven't seen Arrow Storm from my opponent. Flooded Strand. Money! But with all the Bring Lows and the Arc Lightnings, I'm guessing it's kind of around. Like maybe what my opponent's deck is doing is just, I have tons of removal. And some Dorks. Because if I can kill everything you're doing, I'm good. Alright. Opponent is going in for it. Free Weapon Master is the scariest thing. The 5/2 we've actually seen and can get scary. Can I afford to block this guy? I can't afford to take 5, I don't think. So I think I make my opponent show me that it's the 5-2. If that's the case, that's really not good. But at least I know I can block it? How important is this Bitter Revelation? No matter what, it's something that is favorable for my opponent if I block with the Sultai Scavenger, unless my opponent's really trying to bluff, and I doubt that's the case. Gotta be careful at time. Which makes me think that at the worst, it's a... It could be either of those still, because the Free Webmaster or that is still good against the Sultai Scavenger. You know, I haven't seen a Weapon Master, so I'm gonna go with, oops. I'm gonna assume it's the 5-2. It could be other things, though. Ugh. I'm taking a gamble here based on what I've seen in the last 2 games. See what kind of morph it is. Alright. So my opponent's definitely going to flip it. Is it the morph I've seen or something I haven't seen? Ooh. Witness of the Ages. Alright. Pony Back Brigade. Kind of exactly a card I needed. The problem is I'm 1 mana away from it being awesome. But we use Bitter Revelation to draw into another land. Oh no, I can't do that. I would be 1 behind. Then I can't play Pony Back Brigade. This blocks. Taking 4 next turn. I'm going to do Bitter Revelation. Desperate move. I'll take you and you. Hey, there's that life I was looking for. Maybe I should have thought that through. I wanted the life because of Aerostorm, which I haven't seen from my opponent, but I didn't realize with the 2-drop, because I wasn't thinking clearly, that I could... Oh, I need to play quicker, because even if I get out of this bind, I have 1 minute and 47 seconds to win. I think I'm going to lose, but still. I don't want to beat the time. I'd rather... Trumpet Blast! Alright. Wait, I'm trying to GG's. I'm trying to GG's. Okay, so what was I saying? I was just GG my super nice opponent and saying what a fantastic match that was. Yeah, I think the biggest line of play that I have to go back and really see, like, on that blowout of the Sultai Scavenger, I decided to go with blocking based on a morph that I knew might exist. I still think it was right to do a block no matter what. I don't think I could afford to take even 2 damage, since Bitter Relation was kind of hopefully an out. And so, I have to admit, I think that was wrong. Obviously because it did blow me out, but even thinking, like, I didn't see that many morphs from my opponent. Already Woolly Loxodon in the graveyard was an example of a morph that I didn't know. And therefore, probably, like, I've seen, there's other morphs besides the 5-2 that I was kind of betting was there. So the Sage Eye Hero would have been a safer bet, because it survives more morphs than the Sultai Scavenger. So I think I should have done that block. And then also, I was going a little too quickly with time when I did the Bitter Revelation, and I wanted that life land for Aerostorm versus taking the 2-drop. It was more likely, or more important for me to, like, stabilize the ground than to play around an Aerostorm, which I hadn't seen from my opponent's massive removal suite already. So I should have grabbed the untapped land and also play my 2-drop for better blocks, which actually would have kept me alive a turn. I don't know if I would have won the game still on my time and my opponent's, like, nice board state and me at such a low life, but that definitely would have been a better play. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Again, I'm Ryan from manabluff.com. Comment, subscribe, like on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter, __RJH___. Or if you comment on manabluff.com, I always promise to respond to those comments. Again, thanks for watching. See you next week.